Are you familiar with drop-off analysis?
Drop off. Okay. All right. No, go. You go.
Yeah. So what?
Look, I'll try to shut up. It's hard for me because
you ask your questions. I like anything you're like, hey, I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. I have no idea what you're talking about. Go to drop off.
Perfect.
Analysis.
That's why I'm here. So, so the way you read this is a comparison for Pennsylvania, all the counties in the state. And what we're looking at is how many votes the presidential candidate got for each party,
right,
compared to another race of their party. So in this case, it's the
so all the down-ballot races. It should be the same pretty much.
And so here's the senator, right? The president versus the senator. And the way you read this on the bottom here is you have all the voting types. Well, two of the voting types. Provisional is so small, it's nothing.
Right.
So you have mail-in, you have election day.
Okay.
And so on the left, the y-axis it's the drop-off percent. So it's, hey, if I get 100 votes, and the senator gets 50%. I am technically speaking 100% over, I'm double. Right. And so what we're seeing, this is for both presidents, the candidates. This is red is Trump.
Okay, wait, hold on. This is where I start to get confused. All right. So.
Well, here, let me. So red is Trump.
Got it.
Blue is Harris. Right. We're going to start on the left.
Right.
So you have 0%. That is the amount of votes the senator got. Okay. So the 0. So if both the president and the senator got the same amount of votes, you're going to be 0. This isn't going to exist.
Got it.
So as you get further, you're going to see the percentage of both candidates in how many votes they got. And what's interesting about Pennsylvania is they had some interesting counties, but this is averaged out. So this is every county in the state. We're going to, in a next slide, highlight the counties individually, and you'll see the change.
Why on election day is the percentage so
that
higher?
Is the question.
Why?
So why is it? Yeah. So the way you're looking at it, right?
That makes no sense.
Mail in.
That's about right.
Both candidates get around 1 to 2%. Right. This is consistent with past elections. This is consistent.
Going back 100 years.
Averaging out. This averages out. That is generally what you're going to see. Why? Because you get some really high, some really low. It averages. That's what we expect to see. Right. If that is the baseline, why is it on election day we see the Republican presidential candidate getting a significantly more amount of votes,
almost 5 times more
than the senator, who should just, that's the point, is if you're going to vote.
So you didn't vote. So you just voted for the president, but didn't vote for the senator, who's basically a third of the whole system. And wait, it doesn't make any sense.
And the Democrats won multiple.
Did that happen with the Democrats at all? Does any states of this flip? I'm just saying.
Yes, there were many swing states that the Democrats.
Is this percentage consistent anywhere else, or is this just swing states?
There are other states that are not swing states that have the same pattern.
Okay.
Same symptom. And we are highlighting this because, as you said, why is the presidential candidate getting so many more?
That makes no sense.
And why is it only happening on election day?
Right.
And we're going to kind of break it down by county. But the point being,
it would happen.
Let him say why.
No, you're fine.
I'm trying. Just so you guys know, I'm interrupting for one reason. You're super smart. You're saying you're very dense. I'm trying to make sure that everybody pays attention. So if that's the percentage for election day, there is no reason why it shouldn't be exactly the same on mail-in.
Yes. Why is there such a difference?
Except it's not a little difference. That's a lot of difference. Statistically, it's a fucking huge difference.
Tell people that are listening what you're seeing.
So guys, if you look at this right now, if you look at mail-in, right, it's basically, the Republicans won. Okay, and that's just that. Is that down ballot too?
No, so sorry. Let me address that. This is just that comparison.
Okay.
The Democrats generally have higher amounts of votes for mail-in. This is just showing that even though Trump got less than the amount of mail-in votes, it doesn't matter. How does he compare to the Senate?
Right.
So even in mail-in, where the Democrats are killing it generally, he's still sitting 1 to 2%, and they're both doing it. And that's what we're saying is, why do we see such a shift between vote types?
Yes.
Right.
Because then on election day.
Because election day, there's more people voting.
It's radically different.
What ends up happening is when in the big districts where there's more people voting, if the machines kicked in, if the algorithm kicks in later in the machines, the more people vote. Fuck.
Let's talk this then.
Okay.
Let's talk what could cause this that isn't manipulation, right? What's the talking point? What have you heard? What have you heard?
I haven't heard anything, but this is crazy. So this is bullet vote, right? That's just presidential.
In this case, yes. In this case, this is just
so in
votes
Democrats,
for the president.
it was less than 1%. But for some reason, And these are people, and if Trump supporters are insane, they're Republican down. They're Republican. They're hardcore. I mean, Democrats too. But for it to not be the same, it should be about the same. Let's say it's even if it just matched mail-in, it would just be up a little bit. Instead, it's almost 5 times as much. That's crazy.
And what's important to notice here is the argument is, hey, could this be caused by Democrats voting mail-in aggressively and Republicans showing up, election day early voting, right? And that's the argument, is saying, hey, as said, people don't trust mail-in voting.
Right.
The problem is this isn't the amount of votes. This isn't, are the Democrats winning or losing each? It's how is the president compared to the next down ballot race?
Yeah.
Which is a potential symptom of other things. And so the reason why we're highlighting this is we would expect to see both be similar. Mm-hmm. And because they're not, as you mentioned, this could be a symptom of vote manipulation. And we're going to dig into that a little bit more.
Yeah, because one of the things that has really been odd to us is that, for example, on a ballot, AOC was selected and then Trump was selected.
So you had asked, are we seeing this in other places? The Democrats won, I think, 6 different lower down ballot positions across the swing states, and Trump won the presidency.
Yeah, that's not a thing. Not these days, anyway.
In that state. And so you're voting.
That makes no sense.
You're voting in, some of the candidates were like very liberal type candidates, like women candidates. And
it wasn't like the centrist Democrat one. It was,
it
was Trump.
Alyssa Slotkin won.
So they're winning.
Trump won.
They're winning down ballot.
I feel like I'm screwing you up, and I don't want to. I want to be very clear about this, guys, because I think I've confused things. This basically, there's 4.51% of bullet ballots, basically where the president only was voted for, and on the Democrats, it was less than 1%.
No, this is comparing the presidential votes versus the Senate, which you're just doing the next down ballot.
You're both right. Yeah. So it would be, in this case, bullet ballots.
He's lying.
No. It would be bullet ballots if you want to use that term. We don't really use that term just because it's super confusing. But these are votes that were only cast for the president, not cast for the Senate. So we're seeing the Republican presidential candidates getting 4% more votes.
So you're telling me that
4% more voters.
These MAGA Republicans came in, just voted for Trump, and decided to let Democrats win the lower races. That's not realistic.
Can I just throw something into the background touching on what I said earlier, because I found a specific example. I'm actually questioning myself now. After Bannon was pardoned by Trump,
right,
he went on the War Room podcast, which has tens of millions of listeners. And he said specifically, this is your call to action. And his direct quote is, it's going to be a fight, but a fight that must be won. We don't have an option. We're going to take this back village by village, precinct by precinct. They called it the precinct strategy. And after that, it rocketed across fringe sites, QAnon sites, talk radio, all of this. Suddenly, these people came out of the woodwork to become poll workers, precinct workers. Even the party chair in Wisconsin said, we have never signed up election inspectors like this in the history. Like, there were Florida people, like Florida quoted, I've never seen anything like this. People have come out of the woodwork, and it's all Republican, not Democrat.
That would go to what he said earlier about if the bomb threats are called in and the chain of custody is broken.
They called it the precinct strategy.
Oh shit!
So if this is blowing your mind already, you're gonna have to have some.
No, I'm hurting. You're gonna need.
I'm
some.
gonna have to
drink tonight, honestly.